Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome back to Let's Play Sly Cooper Thieves in Time for the Sony PlayStation 3. In the last video, what did we do? Well, I know we had to do some things in order to get to where we are now, obviously. We had to break into the saloon for one. Ah, yes, we had to go into the mines. And we had to go into the saloon. So we know what Toothpick is doing. And now, we need to throw those plans into chaos. It's been a few days since I played the last set of missions that I did. Also, we now have Toothpick's office bugged. And of course, Bentley is still wearing that disguise with the mustache as part of the whole saloon thing. So now we have a mission with Tennessee Kid Cooper. Blind date. I'm guessing that someone new or someone familiar is going to show up for this job. So, let's go ahead and wait for the loading screen to finish, and then we'll be on our way. Thankfully, it won't take long to get the job loaded and underway. And as soon as we get over to the job marker, which isn't very far away at all, might as well go for a few coins before I go and show off Kid Cooper's stealth kill. We'll get this up and rolling.
That's not good. Looks like Toothpick rustled himself a pretty lady.
Sweet jumping jackrabbit! That's no lady, that's Carmelita! What is she doing here?
You know her?
I'm afraid so. Something is very wrong here, Tennessee. But all quantum physics aside, we have to rescue her. Nobody can get there faster than you. I'll grab Sly and Murray, and we'll meet you in the van. Just get going.
What in the world is Carmelita doing here, and how did she get here in the first place?
Huh. I wonder who Bentley's lady friend is.
Do you really want to find out, Tennessee? Do you?
Kidnapping. That Toothpick's lower than a snake in a ditch.
And as we keep moving forward, Tennessee Kid Cooper makes it clear he does not like Toothpick.
Heck, rescuing pretty ladies is a hobby of mine anyway.
And we might as well interact with this job marker so that way we can get to the next area. And oh boy, if you do not know what to do here, it will be a doozy. Expect me to fail a few times as I do this, because I know I did fail a few times during the practice run.
I am only too happy to get rid of this one. Her tongue's sharp enough to cut leather.
Stinking cowards! Afraid to untie me and fight like men? I swear when I get out of this...
No sense fretting about that, little lady. Cry, cry, little dear, yes. Just enjoy the ride.
And we need to get moving. And we need to crack shot all of... Really? You're just going to do that? Just not go over the rail as I switch direction? Okay.
Can't let the stage hit that barrier.
Well, we got those things taken care of.
You can stop anytime.
Now we have to wait for the obstacle in our way to blow up. And then we need to avoid getting shocked as we make our way to the next area. And there's an enemy over here. And several enemies, as a matter of fact.
I better start slinging some lead. This is getting to my hairy. Woohoo! I am the greatest shot ever.
What are you doing out there?
Don't worry your pretty head, Miss Carmelita. Everything's under control.
And it's a good thing I was concentrating and trying to do stuff as I did this. Because we managed to get Ancient Warfare 3. Basically, we had to destroy all those enemies in less than 65 seconds. And now, we need to shoot down all these valves. Otherwise,
Are you enjoying this?
the flames will lead Carmelita into a world of hurt. And we need to get moving again. And I got shocked again. Beautiful. Well, I would have failed anyway if I had not done that.
Turned up the heat.
Are you enjoying this?
And I need to blow this up too, just to be safe. Alright. Let us do this. And I was trying not to land on that.
Nabbit. Looks like some fool just turned up the heat.
So now I have to do this yet again.
Are you enjoying this?
And then try not to get shocked again.
Can't let the stage hit that barrier.
And we should be able to hit everything from here, I think. Alright, now to enjoy, or rather avoid, being shocked. And we have some more enemies to deal with, along with the usual
I better start slinging some lead.
hazards and enemies. So once again, just like we have been doing the whole time, we're going to have to use Crackshot just to
Hater about to get mad.
really... We just have to avoid getting blown up. Like that.
Love moving targets.
And just try to get rid of all these enemies before the stagecoach shows up.
Yeehaw! Now that's what I call excitement.
Really? Well, at least we didn't have to deal with any of those guys. And now we need to get over here and get everything here out of the way. And thankfully, this is... No, this is not where it ends. I believe we have one more thing of this to do.
Now that's how you cool things off.
Thankfully, you can change direction on the second part of the double jump.
Those flames will roast us for sure.
And it looks like we'll have to deal with enemies again as we do this.
Smoothest ride.
Please stay on the road. Any road.
Did we fail? We failed. I didn't get there fast enough. Or maybe I missed something and I didn't even know that I missed something. Well, we can always try this again.
Bullseye. Now that's how you cool things off.
And why I was not holding right, game. I was not holding right in any capacity. I was holding more up. And apparently the game decided I was holding right.
Bullseye. Now that's how you cool things off.
Again, I move the left stick even slightly. And I go where I don't want to go.
Bullseye. Now that's how you cool things off. Those flames will roast us for sure.
And I need to get this out of the way.
This ain't gonna be the smoothest ride.
Please stay on the road. Any road.
Not to say you're going to blow this up or not. And once again... Oh, great. I still have to do this. Checkpoints on this could have been a lot better, honestly. They could have been so much better.
I need to blow that barrier away.
Can't you stop this thing?
Don't worry, you're pretty ahead, Miss Carmelita.
And thankfully, that was the last of that.
Are you?
Pleased to meet you, ma'am. Why, I'm Tennessee Kid.
Don't tell me. You're a Cooper, right? I knew it.
Yes, ma'am. Bentley told me you.
Stop calling me ma'am. The name's Inspector Fox. Wait, Bentley's here?
Well, looks like they're right behind us.
Carmelita, I'm glad you're okay.
Why, that conniving little...
Much obliged for a helping hand, Inspector Fox. Let me run these banditos over to prison, and I be back for you, all in lickety split. Of course, you feeling neighborly? You could just turn yourselves in.
As much as I like the idea of Sly in a cell, nobody kidnaps Inspector Carmelita Fox and gets away with it.
I reckon that also includes tying her to a runaway stage.
Watch it. I'm in no mood for smart remarks. Now, are you ready for another mission, Tennessee?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, I mean, I surely am, Inspector Fox.
And that job is finally complete after so many resets that I did not want to have. Seriously, if it's not all the jumping over the electricity that you have to do, it's all the crack shot shooting that you have to do. Amazingly, I had more problems with jumping over the electricity than I did with the actual shooting. But now we have a problem. The Cooper gang is now locked up thanks to Toothpick, and the only people available are Kid Cooper and Carmelita, who is finally playable. I mean, we were playing as her in 3, here and there. So, the only way you could probably better that was to make her just fully playable. And if you go to ThiefNet, you'll be able to get a few new things. There's the smoke bomb, which works much like it did in Sly 2 and Sly 3. There's the confusion ammo for Bentley, which confuses enemies. And this is actually a improvement on the bombs that allowed you to confuse enemies in 2 and 3, because you can now do it with the darts as well. And you can get some black market upgrades for Carmelita. Hold R1 for continuous fire. That's how auto fire works. And we might as well play as Kid Cooper because he's the one with the mission available. Also, Toothpick talks a lot. Ugh. So once again, here we are at another loading screen. There's the music. It's only a matter of time before we get the actual game going. And now... There we go. And there's a jailbreak mission right there. If only we had the paraglider like we did with Sly Cooper there, but sadly we don't. I will get my hands on some gold, though. Might as well get all the gold that I can. And if he hops up here, he's getting crack shot. Yeah, that'll basically auto-kill any enemy, even if you're on the field and you're not in any of the missions. And let's see if we can get over here from there. Apparently not. But I think we have to be at the bottom anyway, because we need to go over there. Do want to take the time to get some things, though, especially some gold. So I might as well do that. And go ahead and stealth kill anyone that I can. And we need to carefully make our way down while also avoiding enemies. Doesn't seem like there's anybody over here. I thought maybe there would be, but nope. Now there will be somebody here. No? Huh. Well, there's some treasure there, but I'm not taking it yet. Yeah, you need to do pretty much all the story in order to be able to get all the treasures. So I'm just going to leave those alone for a good long while. But anyway, here's the job marker. We might as well get this show on the road.
This river is dangerous, but it leads back to the prison. Way I figure it, they won't be expecting us to come this way. You sure you're up to this, Miss Fox?
That's Inspector Fox? But just call me Carmelita. Thanks for the rescue, by the way.
My pleasure. Inspector? You some kind of sheriff? How'd you get mixed up with Sly?
It's a long, complicated story. Right now, I need to rescue that ringtail, so I can wring his neck.
Ooh-wee, you are feisty. You remind me of this one little gal who...
So, what's this prison like, anyway?
Well, plenty of fire, for starters.
Terrific. Let's get going.
And once we get out of this loading screen, we're going to be doing a lot of shooting. Also, there is one Sly mask in this job. Might as well mention that since we're waiting. Anytime now.
Miss Carmelita, you didn't forget how to use that pistol, did you?
Not a chance. I just press the R1 button to pull the trigger. And I can press and hold the L1 button to focus my aim.
And you'll need to use the right analog stick
To give that ringtail a piece of my mind.
to move the cursor.
Take this sector, Tennessee.
Also, pay attention to the red arrows, because that's where the nearest enemy is going to be. You want to take out enemies as soon as you see them, so that way they don't destroy the raft. And if any TNT barrels get in your way as you move, you also want to destroy those as well. The worst enemies in these parts are the jackalopes, because they can throw these sticks of dynamite at you and they can do a lot of damage. Thankfully, you can use the lock-on technique to shoot down the sticks of dynamite that they throw,
I can't believe Sly
which kind of gives me some vibes of the Lone Ranger for NES, except in 3 dimensions.
Nice shooting, Carmelita.
How about less sweet talk and more action? find another way there.
And interestingly, I didn't mention this. If you're on a hook, you can press triangle to disconnect, which is always interesting. And now we need to okay. I was trying to go for that other hook, but I'll take it. And now we need to be very careful where we go, because we will get shot at. And I thought I would be able to lock onto him if I just pressed the button. Apparently not. Also, we can jump this, assuming we know what we're doing. There will be an enemy behind this crate, though, once we shoot it down. Told you. And he is hiding, but we can take his buddies down. Really? I can't get him from back there. Well, I can get him now. Wondering if the icon for whether he was locked onto or not would show up. Well, we've now made it to a lever. Might as well pull it. And once we do, we need to make our way back to the raft, because we can continue. Of course. Really? You wouldn't let me grab that game? Of course. It's not going to get any easier.
Tennessee, this way.
Once we get back on. Because once we get back on, we're going back to playing as Carmelita.
Looks like we got company, Miss Carmelita.
And while you could destroy that barricade now, not really advised. Because you're going to have enemies attacking you on both the left and right sides. Also, I might as well mention my one gripe about these controls. The cursor seems to move a lot slower. When you are locking onto stuff. And I wished it moved just a little bit faster. It can be a pain when you're not using controls.
Those steers up there mean business. Huh, that switch looks kinda important.
So we need to make our way to the lever at the very end of this. If we want to continue on the raft. And I forgot where I needed to land and press circle at there for a second. Once we get over here, this is where the fun's going to begin. And I wanted to get that gold, but at least there was some health to kind of help me out there a little bit. Though I can't really complain there.
Shoot, time's a-wasted. Pick it up, Tennessee.
And while I can't get him from there, and I can't get this from here either. Really? Well, at least this doesn't take long to refill. We can go ahead and hide over here. And we can go over here and take these two guys down.
Looks like some dopes are still looking for a fight.
And I can't seem to shoot it from there, so I'm going to have to get down on the... Really? Can't do it that way, huh? Well, it looks like I'm going to have to go back. Not that much... Not like that's this much of a problem. I cannot speak to save my life. But be it, boy. Chair. Sound like Porky Pig now. Now, can I shoot this from here? Yes. No. Once again, I'm going to have to go back. Shows what I know about hiding behind things and shooting without getting shot myself. And now we need to press this lever. Or pull it, rather. Once we do that, we can continue back to the raft.
Get your boots on, gang. Tennessee's on the way.
And it'll be a little more
Tennessee, this way.
complex than before. And before you go over there, climb down this rope. There is actually a slime mask over here. This is the slime mask that I mentioned on the loading screen. So let me get back to dry land here and not fall into the water here, and let me mark that off. That just leaves us with a few more to go. And from here, we can slide down the rail and get back to the raft. Now, this part in particular, you'll be doing some simultaneous enemy shooting and TNT barrel shooting as well. Thankfully, I managed to get the enemies away from me. And this is, ironically, the easiest part of the whole mission. At least as far as shooting things down on the raft is concerned. Also, 2-for-1 special.
Bentley and Murray are all right. Follow me, Tennessee.
And we're not done yet, because we need to get over here. Crack shot the door. And here's where the real fun begins.
You go on. I'll stay here and cover you.
And by fun, I mean absolute frustration. First of all, I want to shoot down as many things as possible.
Well, bring it on then, boys.
Yep. And I want to get somewhere other than down there.
These galoots are not smart.
Can I... Thank you. Apparently you'll need to hold R1 the entire time. You'll need to take out the cow enemies in order to make things a little less hectic. And you'll also need to pay attention so that way you don't get hurt by the infinitely spawning jackalope enemies. There are 4 locks on the cage holding the Cooper gang. Thankfully, you don't need to shoot them all down at the same time, which is good because you'll probably be spending a whole bunch of time trying not to get killed
Tennessee, just one more
by these guys
You've got to hurry!
who seem to spawn infinitely.
like shooting rats in a saddlebag.
Well, it took a lot less time to do that than in the practice run.
Carmelita, are you all right?
I am. No thanks to you. I should leave you in that cage after what you pulled, Sly Cooper.
I know. Look, I can explain everything.
Why, if it wasn't for this handsome and charming gentleman, I wouldn't even be here.
Aw, shucks. Handsome and charming? Really? Look, Carmelita, I know...
Save it, Sly. All I want to know right now is how I get back to Paris.
Actually, Carmelita, I was more curious how you got here in the first place.
But guys, where's the van?
We'll have to track it down later, Murray. Now, what were you saying, Carmelita?
It's a long story, Bentley. Let's get moving and I'll tell you.
And now that this job is complete, we'll get ourselves a nice little cutscene about how Carmelita got here. At least the story will explain that.
When I saw that arrogant little, that no-good lying... Ugh, I should have tied his mangy tail around his neck. I should have blasted that smug look right off his face. I should probably just finish my story. After the Cooper gang escaped at the museum, I decided to follow my nose and take a look around. I'd been investigating the trading of stolen antiquities on the black market, but I'd never guessed that two-faced ringtail was involved. Then as I turned a corner, I was stunned to see a huge stash of stolen treasure right there in the museum. And even more shocking, Cyril Le Paradox himself unloading them. I couldn't believe it. The billionaire art collector and museum patron was behind this? I was so surprised that by the time I reacted, his goons already had me covered. Then that slimy sawed-off runt had me thrown into some vile machine. And the next thing I knew, I was playing cowboys and criminals. The Old West? Time travel? It was completely loco. Sure, Le Paradox had done some time in his youth, but he'd been squeaky clean ever since. And Interpol had never considered him a suspect. There were rumors about the source of his wealth, but nothing had ever been proven. Now I knew I'd solved that mystery. And of course Cooper and his little friends were involved somehow. Why was I not surprised? The Fleabag tried to feed me some story about having to rob the museum to save the future. But I was done listening to that liar. I needed to get back to Paris. But that toad toothpick had stolen Murray's van, and Bentley's time machine along with it. I finally cracked the case, and now I was stuck in this lousy dust bowl with the Cooper gang. I don't know what made me angrier. Not being able to bust the lowlife skunk, or being trapped here with that lying ringtail. Ooh! The only bearable thing about this whole mess was that at least Cooper's ancestor was a gentleman.
So, Sly and Tennessee Kid are basically birds of a feather, and yet you'd rather be around Tennessee Kid. What? But at least we have a name to put on all this. Cyril the Paradox. It appears that he has a time machine of his own. But it looks like we're going to have to do some digging and scheming in order to find out exactly how and why he has one. And we are not done yet. I might as well go ahead and look at FIFNet real quick. And we have a new move for Murray, the Juggernaut throw, which makes any item Murray throws explosive. Thankfully, you do not have to equip it. Once you buy this, it's automatically in effect. I believe that this ability was in Sly 2 and that it was also in Sly 3 as well. Also, where in the world is Smoke Bomb? Okay, it's right there. Had to be sure. Well, the quartet is complete, and we have the Cooper ancestor for this chapter as well. And we need to go after not Tennessee. We need to go after Toothpick again. And we will have to do that in the next video. So let me go ahead and save my progress right here. Join me next time where we play the Grand Key Larceny mission with Murray, and then see what happens from there. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching!